Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
TTC head confirms cause of Scarborough RT derailment. Ontario businessman loses $38,000 in check cashing scam. Roads reopen around Queen's Park Hospital Row after possible vehicle convoy prompts closures. What is the Toronto Blue Jays magic number to clinch a playoff spot? New video shows motorcycles speeding along Highway 400 prior to crash. 2 dead, 4 hurt in helicopter crash near Prince George, BC. SIU investigating death of 88-year-old man in Mississauga.
These were the headlines and let's jump right into the details.
The Transportation Safety Board says 2 people are dead and 4 have been hurt in a helicopter crash east of Prince George, British Columbia. Liam MacDonald, the Safety Board spokesman, says a team of investigators is being sent to the crash site where a Bell 206L helicopter went down near Purdenski Hill, a mountain resort off Highway 16. BC Emergency Health Services says it transported 4 people by ambulance to hospital after the crash at around 7:45 this morning. Corporal Jennifer Cooper with Prince George RCMP says the extent of the injuries to those on board is not known. Cooper says they don't know why the helicopter was in the area, but they know it was not a forestry crew aboard. McDonald says investigators are heading to the scene to gather information, examine the wreckage, and conduct witness interviews. An Ontario businessman says he has to pay about $38,000 after he was the victim of a check cashing scam and failed to immediately report the fraudulent activity to his bank. I feel you work hard, you put your money in the bank, and that's why I don't have online banking because I'm worried about fraud. Joe John, owner of Gaikan Machine Works in Mississauga, told Awaz News. John said he's always been nervous about online banking, so he only banks in person, which is what he has been doing for the last 30 years for his business. According to John, someone recently copied one of his checks and created 8 fraudulent ones after uploading photos of the fake checks into a mobile banking app. This individual allegedly deposited them, withdrawing $68,800. TD Bank, which John banks with, launched an investigation and refunded 2 of the 8 checks. John said because he didn't report the fraudulent activity immediately, he is responsible for the remaining 6 checks, which total $38,300. In a letter from TD Bank, John was told, regrettably, your claim has been declined as we did not receive it within the required time period, which is detailed in your product agreement. TD Bank is saying they are not going to give me any money because I didn't report it right within 48 hours. How would I report it if I don't have online banking? John said. According to John, he receives his bank statement once a month. He says he's shocked he has to cover the losses, adding it will force him to close his business. In a statement to Awaz News, TD Bank confirmed it launched an investigation and is working with the John directly on what to do next, but could not provide details. The bank advises customers to keep their checks in a secure spot where they cannot be found easily, destroy unused checks from closed accounts, and check account statements regularly. John says he wants his money back before he is forced to close his shop. I need to get my money back. I need the bank to take responsibility for their actions so other people don't have the same problem I have, John said. The Blue Jays are back home for their final home start of the season, and all signs point to Toronto playing baseball beyond the end of the regular season on October 1st. Toronto will host the next 6 consecutive games, starting with the now eliminated New York Yankees on Tuesday before closing out their season with a 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays. The odds of the Jays clinching a wildcard spot look good at 97.7% according to baseball analytics website Fangraphs.com. But how exactly the team may make its way to the postseason is a little more complicated. According to conventional baseball, Toronto's magic number against the Seattle Mariners, who are currently outside of the wildcard race at 3 games behind the Jays, is 4. This means that any combination of Blue Jays wins and Mariners losses that adds up to 4 will see Toronto advance, which could happen as early as Wednesday night. However, because the Mariners are currently playing the Houston Astros, who remain 1.5 games behind the Jays, Toronto only needs to win 3 more games to reach the playoffs, regardless of what happens outside the city. If the Jays can clinch a wildcard spot, the result of their series against the Yankees and Rays will determine if they finish second or third in the wild card race. Tuesday night's game also marks the final installment of the popular Jays Looney Dogs night of the season, where fans can purchase an unlimited number of hot dogs for just $1. The Jays are 4-6 on Looney Dog night at the ballpark this season and hope to push their record to 88-69 Tuesday night against the odds. Roads around Queen's Park and Hospital Row have now reopened after police closed the streets in response to a possible vehicle convoy arriving in Toronto. In a post on social media this morning, police said a potential demonstration involving a number of vehicles prompted officers to shut down Queen's Park Crescent from Bloor Street to College Street, University Avenue from College Street to Elm Street, and Wellesley Street west to Queen's Park Crescent. Police cruisers, TTC buses, and dump trucks could be seen blocking off the area on Tuesday morning. Police told Awaz News that investigators received information that a vehicle convoy may be entering the city of Toronto. The streets were shut down as a precaution to protect emergency routes, Inspector Susan Redmond told reporters on Tuesday. Police began to reopen the traffic blockade shortly before noon. TPS will continue to monitor, assess, and act upon the latest credible information. We thank the public for their patience, police said in a social media post. The heavy police presence around Queen's Park came just one day after MPPs returned to the provincial legislature after summer break. Despite the traffic blockade, it appears the Ontario Health Coalition OHC will go ahead with an unrelated protest at Queen's Park this afternoon. On Monday, thousands of people gathered on the lawn of the legislature to speak out against privatizing healthcare in the province. Police have released new video footage which shows several motorcycles speeding along Highway 400 moments prior to a crash involving one of the bikes. The footage was captured by a driver's dashcam as they made their way southbound on Highway 400 near Highway 47 on Saturday afternoon at around 12 p.m. In the video, which was uploaded to social media by Ontario Provincial Police on Tuesday, a total of 3 motorcycles are seen weaving in and out of lanes of traffic as they speed by motorists. Seconds later, the driver of the vehicle with the dashcam takes an exit onto Highway 407 and comes upon an accident site involving one of the motorcycles. Police say that the rider, a 34-year-old, was subsequently taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries and has been charged with stunt driving. Police say that no other vehicles were involved in the collision. The release of the footage comes as OPP report a 20% increase in stunt driving charges so far this year. To date in 2023, a total of 4,395 charges have been laid. The Scarborough RT derailed this past summer after bolts holding down power rails came loose, TTC CEO Rick Leary says. Leary confirmed the finding to Awaz News Tuesday morning. We know that ultimately there are some bolts that came loose holding down the power rail, Leary said. The July 24th derailment sent 5 people to hospital with minor injuries and ended the life of the troubled line several months early. I think when you have heard me speak before about the infrastructure, you know it. The Scarborough RT was 38 years old. The design life was 25, Leary said. We have talked a lot in the past about state of good repair and needing funding, and unfortunately we have closed it and shut it down, and we are running a bus service right now. Reacting to the finding, TDC board member councillor Josh Matlow told Awaz News the derailment was caused by rusty bolts and political dysfunction, and said the city was lucky that nobody died. The aging line had a design life of 25 years but had been in service for 38 years. Its lifespan extended several times as debate continued back and forth at City Hall over how to build transit in Scarborough. A 3-stop subway extension is now being constructed but won't be ready before 2030. Ontario's police watchdog has launched an investigation into the death of 88-year-old man who was injured during an arrest in Mississauga early this month. The Special Investigations Unit said a field police officer, a crisis worker, and a mental health nurse attended a residence on Silver Creek Boulevard on September 13 at 1:30 p.m. following a request to assess the man's well-being. While there, it became necessary to apprehend the man under the Mental Health Act, the SIU said. During this arrest, the man suffered an injury and had to be taken to hospital. The SIU said he died on Monday. The watchdog noted that an autopsy has been scheduled for tomorrow. The SIU, which investigates the conduct of police that may have resulted in death, serious injury, sexual assault, and/or discharge of a firearm at a person, has assigned 2 investigators and 1 forensic investigator to the case.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.